Terminator Woke Fate. I chose that as the title just because it will get search results, not because it's particularly original. It's hard to be original when there's a million YouTubers all commenting on the same subject. And they're pretty good. Now, my main feeling about this movie and about all of these movies that are woke, and first I'll just define what woke is, just so we're on the same page, because I'm not even sure if I know what it means. It's like a woke person is somebody who's a moral authority and they know what's right and what's wrong, and they don't believe that white men are worth anything. Basically, that's what they are right now, but they could just as easily switch to something else. But the idea is that they're just they're moral authorities or social justice warriors. But I just call them moral authorities because they know better than anyone else what's right and what's wrong. And I find that despicable. And it's usually the worst people who think that. Nice people tend to doubt themselves. But the real psychopaths, they're always positive that they're right and they're moral and they're better morally. And as I've said before, the annoying thing about these people is that their agendas have agendas. Their agenda is never equality, or, Disney's agenda is not to, encourage more diversity. Their agenda is really money. So they have a fake agenda in front of their real agenda. And that is what's always going on with every moral authority. Maybe you're trying to get laid, but whatever your real agenda is, it's certainly not the woke agenda. Anyways, my basic thought about all of this bullshit, this moral authority pop bullshit, is okay, all you social moral authorities, you wanted it this way, so you can watch the movie now. You got it. You got your Terminator, woke fate. You got your Terminator social agenda. All females are powerful and Mexicans, and white men are terrible. Well, here's your movie, so you watch it. You help it make money. You pay for Ghostbusters to make a lot of money. You pay for Star Wars, Rise of Skywalker and Last Jedi, because I'm out. I mean, where are all the moral authorities? Why aren't they buying tickets? Why aren't they watching these movies a million times and supporting them? Anyways, I knew this movie, well, it looked like crap because of the trailer. But then the director came out a number of months ago and said, essentially, this movie is going to piss off a lot of misogynists. Or I think he said it's going to scare the shit out of misogynists. Now, what that boils down to is an ultimatum. If you don't like my movie, then that means you suck. If you don't think my joke is funny, then you don't have a good sense of humor. It's the same kind of argument. And it reminds me of those Facebook posts where they say, if you care for sick children, then post this and share it. And I'm kind of making a joke about that in my extra of my videos. If you support black people, subscribe to my channel. It's like, no, wait. I support black people and I won't subscribe to your channel. Don't give me that kind of ultimatum. It's very insulting. Now, all this social agenda, woke, moral authority bullshit, I don't really understand it entirely. So here's some questions I have. So it's like the chicken and the egg. What came first? Did they make it woke before or after it sucked? Right? So did they start off by saying, let's make a socially conscious movie, a very moral movie, and then they made a piece of shit as a result? Or did they make a shitty movie, and then for damage control, did they decide to bring in the moral authority thing to try to shame people into watching their movie? And I'm sure it's both. I mean, you're going to be shamed and called a racist and a misogynist if you have a movie with only white males in it. So that's not safe. You have to have a token diverse character, you have to have a token female, and you have to have a token gay character. And then you can use that as insulation in case the movie fails. You can say that that's why it failed, because nobody cared about diversity and homosexuality and race and women. Off topic, I've always found it interesting that nobody ever complains about Lord of the Rings not having black characters in it. Because it's like chiefly white. Oh yeah, and I was watching a movie yesterday called Extinction, which was pretty... No, not Extinction, something else. Anyway, it doesn't matter what I was watching. But the interesting thing was that the only non-white characters were black. And I just think it's very funny that the only form of diversity that matters is having black people, as though Asians and Indians don't exist, or Middle Easterners, or natives. My other question was, does this have anything to do with Me Too? And I think it does, in a sense that they're just even more terrified, especially in regards to Me Too, in terms of women. They have to show women as empowered at all times because they're afraid of the Me Too movement. And that, unfortunately, it doesn't make the Me Too movement look good, but it doesn't say anything about the Me Too movement. It's just sad that the Me Too movement, one of the side effects was all this ugly moral authority bullshit. And when you promote your movie as saying it's going to scare the shit out of misogynists, then why even bother with the story? Like, look up there, look at the poster there. Welcome to the day after Judgment Day. Instead it should say, this will scare the shit out of misogynists. Don't pretend you have a story if that's what you're really going for. Just call it Terminator Woke Fate. Welcome to misogynists' worst nightmare. And again, the nerve of the director to speak like a moral authority, to say this movie will scare the shit out of misogynists. Why are you an expert in what a misogynist is? And how do you know you're not one? The nerve of you to just... Like, last time I checked, you're a movie director. You're not an expert in feminism, right? Have you taken a course in feminism? Do you know the history, the girl riot thing? Do you know, anything? And you're going around, throwing around the word misogyny. You shouldn't even throw around the word racism unless you're an expert in race studies. What do you know about gender studies or race studies or even morality? Have you ever read any philosophy? Do you have an education? Because as far as I know, you're just a filmmaker, right? All you've proven is that you can make a movie. You know how to use a camera. You know how the movie industry, and you know how to make money and be a pop. But you haven't proven at all that you've read Aristotle and you've studied ethics or anything, right? Me personally, I wouldn't just assume that I don't have any racism in me or that I'm not biased against women at times. I mean, I certainly objectify them. Or that I don't have homophobia in me. I wouldn't, or that I'm not an asshole sometimes, or that I don't always have good intentions, or And that's why I just like to repeat that my issue here is with people who take the role of moral authority without having proven any kind of morality at all. That's all. That's what it's really about. This is not about hating that I hate women and I hate black people and I hate transgenders or gays, right? That was never. But that's what they want to say, right? They just point. This is a finger pointing thing. And again, it's just tiring and annoying, and they're digging their own grave, right? Because Terminator Dark Fate is a failure, and they can go watch it. You go watch it, all of you moral authorities. You got your movie. You should be so happy. Why aren't you going to? Why aren't you making it make $1 million, $1 billion? You should be watching it on replay. You should be buy 10 tickets to it. Oh wait, the reason why they aren't is because a movie should actually have a good story, right? Isn't that what it is? I forgot all about that. And I was watching a video yesterday about the Joker, where the YouTuber made a very good point. He said how the Joker stood up to the media. They said, no, we're not going to give interviews to you because we know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make us admit that we're being misogynists or something. Like, you're playing your stupid games and we're not catering to you. And the YouTuber elaborated on how the media tried their best to destroy the Joker movie because it wasn't woke. It wasn't trying to fit into whatever has been recognized today as being morally important. And it got me thinking about what's the real reason that people, well, not the reason they hate Disney Star Wars. Okay, Disney Star Wars sucks. That's the real reason, of course. But in terms of the way these companies are presenting themselves, I was thinking, what if the thing that really pisses off the fans is that Disney Star Wars insults the fans, tries to guilt them into liking their movie, and kisses the ass of the media being whatever's popular right now, whatever, you know, they're trying to shame them into. Right? So Disney Star Wars comes along and says to the fans, you have to follow this agenda, the agenda that the media is pushing. And if you don't, you suck. And the media is right. They're the power and they're the best. It's almost like, you know, like the people in a dictatorship. We're in power and you have to like us. As opposed where the Joker, not just thematically, of course, but the way it was presented was, we're not going to attack the fans. We're going to attack the media. Like, fuck the media. We're going to make our own movie regardless of what's socially popular right now. And, you know, I was a real pioneer of this because I wrote a book. My first book was called Men Are All Murderers and Women Are All Whores. And it was a satire on gender roles. But it would actually, if I had, like, you know, power of marketing and shit, it would probably be very popular for the same reason that the Joker is, in the sense that, well, aside from the fact that the Joker is good and my book is good, for the fact that I'm saying I don't really give a shit about what the norms are right now. I'm going to make my own project, and I'll even make fun of the norms right now. You know, if the story requires it, I will make a movie with only white, straight men in it. If the story requires it, and that's perfectly okay. And you know what? If the story requires it, I'm happy with a movie filled with gay characters, or filled with black characters, or Asian characters, or filled with women. Like the book Little Women. I don't think it's wrong for that book to be filled with women. I haven't read it, but I'm sure it is, and that's fine. You know, if you're making a movie about ninjas, I don't mind it being filled with Asians. If you're making a movie about South Central LA, I don't mind it being filled with black people. And I'm not saying those are the only movies, I'm just using extreme examples. And, you know, I'll teach by example. My book, Men Are All Murderers and Women Are All Whores, it didn't catch on. And the reason it didn't catch on is not because we're living in a anti-male, white male culture, or because of the social climate right now. No, it failed for other reasons. It may have failed because it wasn't very good. I don't know. And maybe Ghostbusters failed because it wasn't very good. But I'll end this with my main thought, which is, you got your movie, all you social justice warrior moral authorities. Terminator Dark Fate is what it's called right now. So you go watch it, right? It's your movie. Go watch it. Buy tickets. You got it. You watch it. If you like gays, click like. If you like blacks, comment. If you like women, click notification bell. If you like gay women, subscribe. And if you like gay black women, Patreon, Human Warnings, give me money.